is Jeanne Drevas, and she is here today. She'll be reading from her book, Handmaking My House. And sh it's an amazing book. And there's her husband, Carl, joining the program behind her. Uh,
Sure. When we sold my house that I had built, and then my husband came along and we built, we moved to Oregon, and then and I'm still writing stories on and off about whatever, but then I got a call from our neighbor, closest neighbor back in Virginia, and he said the house had burned down.
so what is it brought up for you to work on it, especially in light of the fact that the house, you had sold it at that point, right?
Yes,
When it
yes.
burned?
And because I was a sculptor beforehand, I've made so many, and a potter, I've made so many objects that passed through my hands and onward. And that's really how I felt about the house, even though I never ever thought I would leave it. But I always like to say I moved for my man out to Oregon, which is not the full story at all.
But you're a sculptor and you've been a sculptor for many years. You can
Mhm.
visit, we'll have to put your website in the chat because
Mm,
Jeannie's things are amazing. You incorporate a lot of nature
mhm.
and a lot of structural sculpting, it seems to me, in my
Yeah.
layperson's terms. How was the house similar to your art projects?
Oh, it was built on 10 locust trees that I cut down in the woods, and and had all my hippie friends haul over. And I tore down this huge old Amosville garage that I bought for $1. Um, and lots of scrounged windows, and a lot of my sculpture is very organically based, and I got um, wood out of the woods and carved and wood burned. Um, yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
your house was a giant sculpture.
yes. And
Mhm.
there were a lot of little added sculptures that I'm not going to read about today. Everybody gets to hear sort of the beginnings. So I am going to read the part of the first chapter. And then I've got 3 readings, and I've had to cut and paste a few times. But so anyway, I'm just going to start. I'm just a little kid. I'm holding my dad's hand, which feels so safe, even though I have to hold my arm way up because I'm so short. We are standing on a dirt road, kind of dippy up and down, with trees that are all around us. Lots of tall, skinny kinds of trees. Not as big as where we live now in our other house, but there are plenty for everyone. Here we go, a mistake. Anyway, mom and dad are so excited every time we come here, but mom has to keep my baby brother from running towards a big digger kind of machine that is just dug up where our new house will be. I want to run to it too. I want to see everything. Run up on the dirt pile, pick up the boards that are laying near the digging. Oh, I can see where the house will be now, where my garden will be, mom says.
Hmm.
I look at her, see her happy face, which I don't get to see so much. Dad says to all of us, you can see how the earth got dug into. That's where the lower level will be, partially set in the ground. I think I see, but I'm happy just to be just us, our whole family, looking at where our new house will be. We all drive here a lot in our big green Hudson, just a short way along Fort Hunt Road from the house we live in now in Toxamont. If you drive away from our Toxamont house on Fort Hunt Road for a few miles, you end up at George Washington's Mount Vernon. Our Toxamont house is little and low and dark, and I have to share a bedroom with my sister in a bunk bed. Me in the bottom because I'm littler than Nina. We used to live in an apartment building, but I don't remember being there. I only know we lived there because mom and daddy have friends there. All those apartments are spread out all over a big lawn, no trees anywhere. But on the side of our Toxamont house, we have trees that have pink flowers and leaves that look like ferns. And our backyard goes way down, down, all trees, all the way to Fort Hunt Road. I have a little log cabin down there too in the backyard. Sun comes through the big trees, making sunbeams on my cabin. It waits out there, calling to me. Come down here and play in me, Jeannie. Make me your home. not that big house where you have to share a bedroom with your sister. My cabin calls to me on any nice day. Yes, I stay in the big house when it's crummy outside, but today is the best spring day ever, and I hear Daddy out there splitting wood for our fireplace. I can't wait until I can do that too, but at least I can carry the pieces he splits to the wood pile. I like helping Daddy. But first I have to see how my cabin is doing, and I push open its wood door. The hinges squeak. I have to get the rock to hold the door open. I yell out, "How come this is a log cabin, Daddy? It's logs on the outside, but inside it's flat wood." Dad stops splitting wood and gets down his hands and knees and peers in my cabin. It's not really a log cabin, Dad explains, because a log cabin is built out of whole logs. You mean the wood is round like before you split our firewood? Yes, like the rounds we roll over from the wood pile for your table and seats in front of your cabin. You know, the rings on the stump I cut, one ring for each year, right? Now look inside your cabin and see how those rings look. See how they are stretched out? Daddy, you are so big you can't fit all the way in. Can't you try and come in and have some lunch I made? See all the pretty flowers you can eat? I have violets that you said I can eat, but also some leaves that maybe you shouldn't eat because you haven't told me they are good to eat. Just pretend to eat those. Daddy is awfully busy, but look at the rings inside your cabin. See how cutting down the edges of the log makes the rings long? Can you see that? Yes, I think so, but where did my cabin come from? Whole logs go to a sawmill and they cut the inside of the log into lumber you see piled up at our new house. They make certain sizes and lengths. See up at our deck off the house? That is made out of different sizes and lengths of lumber. That's what the sawmill cuts. All the outside leftovers with the bark still on can't be used for building houses, for lumber. But your cabin is made out of the leftovers. It's called slab wood. It's kind of nice that people can use the slab wood to make little cabins like yours. When I was young, we used to go to the sawmill and get long pieces of slab wood and cut them up for firewood for our fireplace. Can you make me a fireplace for my cabin, Daddy? Can you let me get off my knees and get back to my work? Off he goes, and I stay in my little cabin looking at the stretchy rings of the wood, trying to figure out what Daddy said. I love my little cabin, my own house to do in what I want. Sometimes my little brother and even my big sister think they own the cabin too. But I'm the one always out there. I'm the one that rolled the stumps for chairs and got Daddy to bring a big stump for a table. It's mine, even though I have to let my brother and sister come here too. I mean, it's fun to have them pretend to eat flower food off my leaf plates, but we really eat the strawberries and blackberries that come in the summer. Since I don't have a bed in my cabin, I have to go to the big house to sleep in the bunk bed. I really just want my own house, all my own. And of course, I want to get in the Hudson and go see our new house getting made. That's where I'm learning how to make my own house someday. One time we go and the hole in the ground is getting filled up with some kind of gray goo that is coming out of the back of the truck. And that part is spinning round and round. The goo goes down a long slide, sort of like at the playground, and men are pushing this goo along and it goes down in a low, flat place. The concrete truck needs to keep turning or else the concrete will harden up inside the tank, yells Dad. He is really excited to see this happen, so I'm excited too. But I'm not sure what is really happening. See how they are leveling the concrete, making our bottom floor? What is a bottom floor? What is leveling, Daddy? Bottom of what? There isn't anything else. But I'm watching closely. Somehow this is going to turn into our new house. Daddy yells back. Turn around and look at the Odom's house across the street. Their house is 2 stories, but part of it goes in the ground, and our house will too because of the hill. The Odom's house has lots and lots of windows, which I really like because when we go to visit them, I can see the outside all over. The windows go all the way from the floor all the way up to the ceiling, so I don't have to stand on my tiptoes or anything. like that to look out. When will our house be finished? When will we move in? Oh, not for a while, but we will come back a lot and watch, okay? Oh boy. And we do go back in the cooler evenings after he gets home from work. Soon I am watching big dusty men wearing leather belts where they hang their hammers and other tools. There are lots of pockets on these two belts, and I want one too. I want to hammer nails. We still have to stand in the street or on the edge of our property while the house building men are busy carrying and hammering what Dad calls 2x4s and 2x6s. I know the numbers, but what does 2x4 mean, Daddy? 2x4s mean the board is 2 inches one way and 4 inches the other way. I'm not too sure what inches are until he shows me on a tape measure. But then he starts telling me something like the 2 really means 1.5. And I really don't know what a half is. I mean, I know a half of an apple that I have to share with my brother Alan. Anyway, I am not allowed to pull the tape measure because first I might break it. And second, I once did pull it out and it zipped back in its holder and the edge of it cut me pretty bad. Oh. But I still want to hammer a nail and measure and build. Maybe I could use a ruler like we have at kindergarten. Back at our old home, I go to kindergarten, which is just a short walk down a path behind our house. My sister and Nina and I, and even my little brother can walk there to play on the swings in the big play yard. When I go to school, I don't want to do anything but recess and go over to the corner in our big room where there are hammers and nails and screws and pieces of board. Maybe some of them are 2x4s or 2x6s. Maybe I could measure. In our big kindergarten room, there are also all sorts of places our teacher calls playstations. There are easels with big paint pots. I sometimes like to go and paint, and there are round tables to draw at and puzzles to put together. The one place I don't want to go to is the playhouse station. I do not want to play house where the girls want to boss people around. You be the daddy or you be the baby. Here, hold the baby. It's only a doll. No, I don't want to hold your baby. I don't want to be the daddy. I want to build a house, not play house. So now we're going to go onward. Wait a second for a sec. I am standing deep in the woods with only a post hole digger in my hands and a digging bar stuck in the ground beside me. And I'm not going to leave until I dig 2 holes 4 feet deep. A post hole digger consists of a pair of metal jaws with 2 long wooden handles attached. No motors propel this piece of machinery, I might add. I am the motor as I mightily throw my 125-pound weight and jab the jaws into the ground, pull the handles apart to bring the jaws together, which hold whatever ground I have dislodged. I jerk the digger upwards to release it upon a growing pile of soil and rocks. Rocks. That's what the digging bar is for. Because man, oh man, are there ever rocks comprising this ridge? The ground to hold whichever ground I have dislodged. I jerk the digger upwards to release it upon a growing pile of soil and rocks. Okay, here we are. The ground is so hard sometimes I must lift the bar and forcefully jab it down over and over, then wearily pick up the post hole digger to harvest my meager diggings. No, I have not heard about those mechanical post hole diggers one puts on the 3-point hitch of a tractor. Not yet. I dig 2 holes per day because 4 feet is a long ways down. The digging bar or post hole digger only has about a foot of grip left when I finally pull it out and stick a tape measure in to find out that I finally got to 4 feet. 1 down, 1 to go. I exuberantly call out after I wait a minute as I catch my breath. 4 feet dug. 1 down, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 to go. It can take me 2 hours to dig 1 hole. 3 when there are lots of rocks. All I hear is the clunk, clunk, of metal hitting rock and soil, the ragged breathing of my lungs, and the grunts emitted with each stab at the earth. All I am feeling is excitement, so relieved to have put my dreams and talks and thought finally into action. I do this digging alone for 5 days in the early summer, sunlight filtering through trees all around me, sweat pouring down my face and hard body. I am almost swimming in the Virginia summer atmosphere, but I keep swimming until the laps are done. So now we've gotten the basic structure up, and I'm skipping ahead to up on the roof. One sultry evening when it's finally getting cool, one of my new local Black friends, Willie, comes up and we start putting down the corrugated sheet metal roofing, which must be nailed on the roofing's upper ridge part with thick blunt nails that have a washer that is supposed to keep out the rain. That ridge is a slippery slope for nails to slide off and fingers to get hit by heavy hammers. My poor fingers and Willie's too, as our left thumbs and forefingers develop blood blisters upon contusions, upon cursing. As we are up there, up in the treetops, Willie says to me, I never met anyone who could wait 8 hours after quitting time. We rest up there and take in our handiwork in the cooling air. This man has helped me and my not-to-be-soon husband, Phil, in so many ways, telling us where we can go cut firewood, and then teaching us how to sharpen the chainsaw when ours proves too dull, how to butcher a deer we picked up newly killed on a road near us, helpful things like that. I love living here under a huge spreading dogwood, which umbrellas a temporary shack I cobbled together. The forest creates a green atmosphere. The humidity envelops me in something more than mere air, something thicker, more indubitable. Each breath I take lubricates my lungs with more oxygen than I thought possible, a gift from this forest. I smell the rotting of leaves, of moss expelling. The heat penetrates deep in my flesh. Sweat comes with just a thought or movement or skin touching skin. But the evening cools and the night noises begin. Katydids, crickets, rustle of leaves, the occasional coyote bark, to the pounding of rain on my metal roof and the quiet drip and a thunderstorm's aftermath. I lie in bed and absorb it all. All right. See?
It calls it up, doesn't it? It calls it up. Yeah, you're Rappahannock County.
Now, my last one is we're up now to plumbing. Hello, I'm calling to see if you have any water heater tanks that are not rusted inside that I might have for free. I leave this voicemail on a number of message machines. I wait. The next morning, me still in bed, the phone rings. I must climb naked down my stepladder to answer. I might add, it's freezing inside. Is this the person who wants a water tank? Asked the plumber. What kind do you want? There are electric ones and gas ones, the plumber explains to my barely tutored mind. As I try and wrap a cat hair infested blanket around me, I explain, I'm going to make a thermosiphoning heat exchanger by wrapping a copper pipe around my wood stove's flue, and that will go up to the holding tank. The used hot water heater I hope to get for you. So which would be better, electric or gas? You are going to do what? He asked impatiently. Well, I read in Mother Earth News that you could do this. The water in the coil will heat up. The hotter expanded water will push up to the top of the water tank that will be upstairs, and then the cooler water in the bottom of the tank will go downstairs to the bottom of the coil at the wood stove. Thermosiphoning. What the hell is Mother Earth News? Can you call me when you have a good tank? I go I go get my tank at the plumber's amid much uncertainty on my part, and then the plumber states, "You are going to need a pressure relief valve, but this tank is a discontinued one, and there are no fittings that will work on that top hole. That's where the pressure relief valve should go." The plumber is pretty much finished with me, a hippie woman who wants something, who needs something for free. Besides, I am learning that the ordinary plumber or well digger cannot think out of the box. And I am rapidly learning I must think out of that narrow by the book reasoning. I devise, with a lot of soldering, a special fitting for the pressure relief valve to come out the top of the tank. I sure hope it works if I ever need it. I mean, how often does water boil in a huge hot water tank? I don't really know. So I just drill a hole out the back wall, stick a pipe through the hole, and solder the other end of the pipe to the valve, and I'll see what happens, I guess. I buy 3/4-inch flexible copper tubing, and as per Mother Earth News, fill it with sand, and with the help of a brand new super duper boyfriend, this keeps it from crimping as we wrap the concoction around an appropriately sized piece of firewood, slip it off, and empty it of sand. We now have what looks like something from a moonshiner still. We slip it onto the stovepipe. The theory of thermosiphoning will be tested in reality soon, with super duper boyfriend Bob, as a matter of fact. I have a stained glass maker friend in Richmond, Virginia, about a 2-hour drive, and he has my dream 4 clawfoot tub, free to haul away. Bob and I go down in my trusty but rusty Suburban, and we man and woman handle the 250 pounds or so cast iron thing down my friend's stairs and into my vehicle. Back home, we drag it into the house. My idea, Bob, is to use this cool old pulley to pull up the tub to the second floor. That is a lovely pulley. Where did you get it? Bob holds the patinaed wood surface that houses the cast iron wheel. I got 2 of them at the Culpeper Building Supply. They have the best used stuff. Lots of my windows have come from them. We are going to use my wood cutting rope. I think it's pretty strong. And I've jammed a 2x6 into the roof rafters right next to where we could swing the tub onto the loft. Bob wisely says, "All right then, let's start tying up the tub. We don't want any unforeseen accidents. And I think it's got to hang level so we can swing it more easily onto the loft." That's enough tying up the tub. See if you can lift it up and see if it stays horizontal. Bob scampers up the ladder and pulls. Oh man, it takes all I can muster to lift it just a bit. He lowers the tub a bit uncontrollably. But it's hanging level. I'll come up and pull with you. We 2 young, strong humans, maybe truly a god and a goddess, managed to pull up the tub and then swing it onto the second floor. Another one of these almost to the limit physical activities I engage in over and over. We place it, if I had made any interior walls yet, at the foot of my 2B bed niche and solder the tub to a planned, just for this occasion, pipe, and I screw on the faucet that came with the tub. The drain part I have not thought out well, but managed to create a bicycle inner tube sort of drain, which goes into a temporary stack, the drain pipe, which is outside the exterior wall and goes down to a drywall I dug. Pretty smart of me to have the tub next to the stack. Wanting a sensory deprivation chamber when I can take my baths, I lined the bathroom with gray felt that I got cheap. Of course, there is also a window to look out and ponder existence in all its forms. A few days later, I fire up the wood stove for the big event, testing out my water heating extravaganza and bathtub, and actually buy a bottle of champagne. I've invited Bob over. At first, the water is thermosiphoning backwards, but it straightens itself out, and oh my goodness, hot water is coming out of the spigot, both in the tub and the kitchen sink. Thermodynamics is more than a theory, and Mother Earth News is correct. The cork is popped, and we both climb in and drink straight out of the bottle.
Oh.
I cannot believe how far I've come. There may be only a rudimentary outhouse, but I have hot running water and a boyfriend who is intense and beautiful.
Oh.
So lovely.
Goodness.
Thank you all for listening.
Wow.
I'm tired just listening to you when I do.